Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Steffy is about to be captured. According to the weekly spoilers for Bold and the Beautiful, Steffy Forrester is about to be caught unless she quickly thinks of something during the week of February 10th to 14th, 2025. As a new couple becomes closer on B&B, someone is hiding a terrible truth. View the most recent CBS daytime drama spoilers. Weekly spoilers for Bold and the Beautiful, Steffy Forrester's scheme is in danger. According to previews for Bold and the Beautiful, Brooke Logan is on the verge of exposing Steffy Forrester. She listens in on Steffy's conversation with Daphne Rose this week and hears some of their exchange. It's likely that Brooke will just hear enough to raise suspicions. She might begin to question whether Steffy has hidden agendas with regard to Daphne based on everything she hears. Spoilers for Bold and the Beautiful, Steffy Forrester. However, she might have the completely wrong impression and believe Steffy is up to something different. In any case, she will probably tell her daughter Hope Logan what she knows right now. On Bold and the Beautiful, they might then go straight after Steffy. They could also remain silent as they plan their next course of action. Later on, Carter Walton's light bulb goes out. He observes that Daphne appears to be interested in more than just perfume and Forrester creations. And he might get suspicious of Daphne because of her relationship to Steffy on Bold and the Beautiful. Spoilers for B&B Weekly, Finn is afraid to speak the truth. Even if Steffy Forrester's plan might fail, she still faces more significant issues down the road. John Finn Finnegan, her husband, is upset this week. He's struggling to come up with a suitable approach to inform Steffy that he is the father of Luna Nozawa. Indeed, learning that he has a grown daughter on Bold and the Beautiful would be shocking enough. It's crazy to find out later that she was conceived from a brief affair with his aunt. However, it is unimaginable to discover that her recently discovered stepdaughter is the same insane person who attempted to murder her. It might just be too much for Steffy to bear. This might be the last straw that breaks Shin after everything they've been through, but it might not go that far. On Bold and the Beautiful, Poppy Nozawa begs Finn to keep his wife in the dark. And she could persuade him. Particularly after he hears Steffy and her family recount the abuse she endured at the hands of Luna. They are also relieved that she is in prison. Finn may therefore find it difficult to come clean. In the meantime, Luna asks Dollar Bill Spencer to assist her in sending her mother a message. For Will and Elektra, love is in the air. Will Spencer and Elektra Forrester had more than their share of drama at Forrester Creations later on B&B. It certainly has to do with Hope and Steffy. However, as Valentine's Day approaches, they also find time for romance. And their new romance heats very quickly. Additionally, Elektra and her Aunt Ivy Forrester, played by Ashley Brewer, formally begin their jewelry brand. They're having a lot of fun right now on Bold and the Beautiful. But spoilers also indicate that Remy Price's story is far from over. Steffy Forrester was about to demonstrate once more why she was a formidable force on the Bold and the Beautiful. She had always known how to get what she wanted. She made the decision to act independently as her marriage to Finn was in jeopardy and she was still afraid of secrets coming to light. But before the truth about Luna's paternity could drive a wedge between them, Steffy came up with a more subdued, alluring plan that would remind Finn of everything they had created together, rekindle their passion, and ultimately secure her place in his heart and mind. The strategy was straightforward: take advantage of their obvious chemistry. Steffy was the one who understood Finn the best. She was aware of his flaws, his desires, and their intense love for one another. Perhaps she could make sure that no external factor, like Luna, Poppy, or Brooke, could upend their foundation if she could maintain his attention on their family and their life together. She meticulously prepared the scene, establishing the ideal ambience to remind him of their shared purpose. From the lingering touches to the whispered words that would keep him bound to her, every moment was carefully orchestrated so that he could not think about anything, or anyone, else. Steffy's strategy focused on emotional connection and reviving the intimacy that had previously been the foundation of their relationship rather than only sexual seduction. With the intention of drawing Finn closer to her world, she organized candlelit evenings at home, spontaneous beach vacations, and romantic dinners. She brought to his thoughts their past, the conflicts they had faced and prevailed in together. By bringing up the first time he had declared his love for her and the way he had battled for their marriage when it looked like everything was against them, she played on her sense of nostalgia. She ensured that each encounter left a lasting impression, a motivation for him to pick her and stick with what they had created. However, Steffy's strategy wasn't without its challenges. Between his allegiance to Steffy and the growing weight of the truth he was concealing, Finn was battling his own inner demons. He felt drawn to Luna every time he saw her. It was a duty he couldn't shirk. Steffy felt his hesitancy and his increasing distance, which just encouraged her to work even more. She would never be able to lose him. He would remember every minute they shared because she dialed up the charm. She kept Finn on edge and made sure he was constantly thinking about her by strategically understanding when to push and when to back off. Steffy hadn't taken into consideration Brooke's constant meddling, though. Already wary of Finn's actions, Brooke's intuition warned her that something was wrong when she witnessed Steffy going to such extremes to keep him near. When it came to defending her own interests, Brooke was not one to back down from a challenge. In an attempt to uncover what she believed to be yet another Forrester plot, she started to investigate and question Steffy's intentions. Brooke realized she was on to something significant when she realized Finn's hesitancy was about more than just relationship issues. The secret that may alter everything was running out of time as Steffy carried out her enticing scheme in an attempt to win Finn's loyalty. Would her plan be successful, holding Finn tightly? Or, regardless of how close they had become, would the truth about Luna destroy them? With Brooke circling, secrets coming to light, and emotions running high, Steffy knew she had to play her game perfectly because one mistake might bring everything she had worked so hard for to crumble. The fight for Finn's heart had never been more fierce. As she contemplated the future of her marriage, Steffy Forrester found herself at a crossroads, her heart heavy with doubt. Unquestionably, she and Finn had loved each other, but in light of recent disclosures, she was unable to ignore the persistent questions that were beginning to seep in. Strong relationships are built on trust, but she couldn't help but wonder whether the secrets about Luna's paternity and Finn's hesitancy had started to undermine that trust. Even though she had previously battled for their affection, something felt different this time. She was forced to face the one question she had been avoiding: was her marriage really made to last, as the weight of the unknown hung over her? Another startling event was taking place elsewhere as Steffy struggled with the status of her relationship. Carter Walton had just made a request that left Hope Logan speechless. Hope had always respected Carter's moral character, devotion, and capacity for unwavering conviction. However, she was unprepared for what he had just asked her to do. It was more than simply a favor, it was a test of her values and a chance to alter her perception of Carter and the course they had been taking together. Carter had always been a driven individual who stood up for his convictions, but his most recent request made Hope doubt everything. Was doing the right thing, or was this about justice? Or did he refuse to acknowledge something more profound and intimate? Hope experienced a flurry of feelings, including shock, bewilderment, and an increasing sense of discomfort. Although she had always trusted Carter, she wasn't sure whether she really comprehended the implications of his request. The animosity between Steffy and Finn simply grew back in her world. Heartbreak was nothing new to her, but she had always believed in battling for love. She wasn't prepared to accept the possibility that her marriage might be in danger, at least not without a struggle. Finn had to give her answers, and she wanted them fast. Did he really care about their future? Or was there a part of him that was still clinging on to something else, something he couldn't bring himself to admit? Every encounter with Finn felt like a high-stakes game where one mistake could ruin everything because of the pressure of uncertainty. Hope was dealing with her own internal conflict at the same moment. Carter's request had put her in a precarious situation with no simple solutions. She had always taken pride in her ability to defend moral principles and her faith in the strength of integrity and honesty. However, she was now being challenged to make a decision that might have a significant impact on both herself and people around her. Even if it went against all she believed she stood for, could she force herself to do what Carter wanted? Both Steffy and Hope were enmeshed in a tornado of emotions as the days went by, with their individual problems drawing them in various directions. Steffy was no longer able to overlook the issue of the future of her marriage. She wanted to know if Finn was really with her, or if their love couldn't stand the shadows of his history and the secrets he had been harboring. Additionally, Hope was forced to face the truth of her options after Carter's request left her at a moral juncture. Would Steffy get the insight she so badly needed? Would Hope be able to balance her personal convictions with Carter's demands? One thing was certain: as their worlds kept changing and falling apart, nothing would ever be the same. The fashion and business worlds were buzzing with excitement as Ivy and Elektra's next endeavor was launched in a magnificent and sparkling event. The business was rocked by rumors of their daring new partnership for months, and now the time had finally come. With its upscale decor, flashing lights, and the aura of exclusivity that only the most privileged circles could muster, the venue was a stunning exhibition of luxury. As models walked the catwalk wearing outfits that reflected strength, refinement, and the contemporary edge for which Ivy and Elektra had gained a reputation, cameras flashed. They had a clear vision: they were changing the fashion industry, not merely starting a new brand. But despite all the fanfare and festivities, another tale was developing, one that was unrelated to sparkle and glamour. Luna had been harboring a secret, a profound fact that could change all she believed to be true about herself. The weight of the realization of her true fatherhood grew nearly intolerable as it hovered over her like a shadow. She had lived her whole life believing one version of her tale, only to find that the basis upon which she had constructed her identity was changing. Now that everyone was witnessing Ivy and Elektra's victory, Luna was at a crossroads, torn between the life she had always led and the reality that threatened to alter everything. Finn, meantime, was battling his own issues. He struggled with the ethical choice of telling Luna the truth or allowing her to live in blissful ignorance, but he had been keeping this secret for far too long. Knowing that he was the missing component of her identity made him feel guilty every time he looked at her. However, telling the truth wasn't just about Luna, it was also about Steffy, their family, and the delicate balance he had been frantically attempting to preserve. There was no way to predict the consequences of telling Luna, and it would rock their lives. At the height of the launch night, Luna was pulled to Finn because she could feel the stress emanating from him. A deep-seated, unsaid bond had always existed between her and him. She couldn't get rid of the feeling that something was being withheld from her, even as they stood in the middle of Ivy and Elektra's success. The desire to demand the truth became more intense with each second that went by. She was tired of secrets since she had lived in the dark for too long. And then Finn finally broke in a fit of rage. For the first time, he saw the indisputable truth glaring back at him when he gazed into Luna's eyes. He could no longer hide this from her. As he took a deep breath, preparing to deliver the words that would alter everything, the world around them appeared to dissolve into the background. The launch of Ivy and Elektra may have been the most significant event of the century, but for Luna, it was the turning point that would completely alter her life. And Luna prepared herself for the reality she had never anticipated as Finn opened his mouth to finally tell the truth. Luna's message to Poppy, Ivy's line launch, and Brooke busts Daphne. Ivy's new fashion line debut was a spectacular event that featured the biggest stars in the industry as guests, and was full of high fashion and elegance. Ivy put her all into this collection because she wanted to leave a lasting impression in the cutthroat fashion industry. The audience held their breath in anticipation as the lights went down and the first model appeared on the runway. The designs were stunning, each piece reflected Ivy's distinctive flair and unrelenting passion, and they were bold yet elegant, current yet timeless. Applause reverberated across the venue, cameras flashed, and admiring whispers filled the air. Ivy had been dreaming about this night for years, and now it was really happening. However, Luna was battling a personal tempest as Ivy's profession was reaching new heights. She had always relied on Poppy for advice, but now she was at a fork in the road that only she could traverse. She was deeply shocked by the discovery of her true paternity, and despite her best efforts to make sense of it, she was unable to ignore the questions that were racing through her head. How will this affect her future? For her connections? For the persona she'd built her whole life around? Luna sent a letter to Poppy with a heavy heart, her fingers shaking as she penned the words that had been bothering her. I don't know how to process this. Everything I thought I knew, it's all changed. Why didn't you tell me? Why did you let me live a lie? I need to understand, Poppy. I need the truth. Knowing that there was no going back once the message was sent, she paused before hitting send. She waited for an answer that might never arrive in the deafening quiet that followed, her phone screen glaring back at her. Brooke, meantime, had her own mission. She was determined to establish her long-held suspicion that Daphne was up to something tonight. She had spent weeks compiling data, making connections, and tracing the path that ultimately led to Daphne's deceit. And now that she had indisputable evidence, she was prepared to face her. The altercation was explosive. As soon as Brooke entered the backstage area of Ivy's launch, everyone's attention was drawn to her. Brooke's scathing remarks sliced through the atmosphere like a dagger before Daphne could even react. I know everything, Daphne. The lies, the manipulation, it's over. You thought you could keep this hidden, but you underestimated me. When Daphne realized she had been exposed, her self-assured exterior crumbled and her face turned pale. There was no simple way out, and the walls were closing in. Each lady found herself standing at a precipice as the night went on, their futures at jeopardy. Unaware of the mayhem that was developing behind the scenes, Ivy reveled in her achievement. Luna waited for an answer that would either strengthen or weaken her bond with Poppy. And Brooke, always the unrelenting force, had just started a series of events that would alter everything. The evening had started out as a party, but as secrets were revealed and realities emerged, it became evident that nothing would ever be the same. On Bold and the Beautiful, will Luna hold the secret to a reunion between Bill and Poppy? The lives of those closest to Luna have already been rocked by her arrival in Los Angeles, but might she be the missing piece that reunites Bill Spencer and Poppy? They have a convoluted past that is full of emotion, miscommunications, and lost chances. Despite their background, there has always been an unmistakable connection between them, one that has never truly dissipated. Bill is now doubting everything because the truth regarding Luna's paternity is still up in the air. Might this realization serve as the impetus for him to reconsider his feelings for Poppy and, consequently, rekindle their previous love? Poppy has been withholding things from people for years, and her unwillingness to tell them the whole truth about Luna's paternity has caused friction. Although she has consistently maintained that her decisions were meant to keep Luna safe, it is reasonable to question whether she was also protecting herself from the agony of having to deal with Bill once more. There would be severe consequences for both Bill and Poppy if Luna were to prove to be Bill's daughter. Would she be prepared to remove the barriers she has put up and let herself be exposed again? The realization that he is Luna's father could completely alter Bill's perspective on life. Despite his reputation as a fierce lover and a merciless businessman, parenting has a way of melting even the hardest hearts. His strong ability to love and protect his children has already been seen in his connections with Liam and Wyatt. A new chapter in his life, where he takes on the role of the parent she never realized she needed, might begin if Luna is, in fact, his daughter. But will he inevitably return to Poppy's embrace as a result of his engagement in Luna's life? However, Luna might not be completely prepared for the reality. The notion that Bill Spencer could be her father would completely shock her since she has lived her entire life believing one version of her narrative. But in an unconscious manner, she has always been pulled to him because she respects his accomplishment and strength. It would be evidence of her own development and fortitude if she were the one to close the distance between Bill and Poppy. Even if it means forcing Bill and Poppy to face their unresolved feelings, Luna might hold the secret to mending long-standing scars and achieving a long-awaited reunion. One thing is certain: as the drama progresses, Luna's contribution to Bill and Poppy's lives is far from over. The decisions they make in the upcoming weeks will determine whether she is the reason they are still apart or the secret to their reunion. However, everything is possible in the world of the bold and the beautiful when emotions are running high and previous mistakes are revealed. To keep the marriage intact, does Steffy forgive Luna? When it comes to her family, Steffy Forrester has always been a strong, resilient, and fiercely loyal lady. But Luna and Finn's marriage was in disarray after the stunning information regarding her true parentage surfaced. She was devastated to learn that Luna was Finn's daughter, since it brought up memories of past hardships and betrayals. The weight of the truth threatened to topple the foundation they had established, and her faith in her husband was put to the test. Despite the sorrow and rage, Steffy was left at a crossroads and had to choose between forgiving Luna and moving on or allowing her marriage to fall apart as a result of this news. Steffy's initial response was one of destruction. She was taken aback and wondered why this fact had been kept a secret for so long. It was too much to bear that Finn would have a kid with a woman whose presence had already caused conflict in their lives. She struggled with thoughts of betrayal and questioned whether she would ever be able to trust Finn completely again. However, Steffy began to understand the wider picture as the days went by and the dust settled. In all of this, Luna remained innocent. She had been as blindsided by the reality as Steffy had been, and she had no influence over the circumstances of her birth. Desperate to preserve his marriage, Finn begged Steffy to comprehend. He told her that he had never known Luna was his daughter until recently and that his love for her had never faltered. He promised to put things right and show Steffy that his family was still his first concern. Steffy could feel the struggle burning inside her when she saw the honesty in his eyes. Was she really prepared to sacrifice everything for something Finn had no control over? She had battled too hard for the life they had created together. Steffy was unable to ignore the young woman's suffering as she watched Luna struggle with the implications of the news. Luna was adjusting to a completely new world after growing up without a father. The more Steffy watched Luna, the more she saw a lost soul attempting to find her place in a world that had just been completely upended, rather than someone who posed a threat to her marriage. Steffy understood that harboring resentment would only harm her future and not alter the past. Steffy took a deep breath and made a heartbreaking decision that would alter the course of history. For the first time, she sat down with Luna and paid attention. She could see the honesty, vulnerability, and need for acceptance in Luna's eyes. Steffy made the decision to forgive at that precise moment, not only for Luna but also for herself. Her future would not be dictated by resentment. By embracing Luna into their family and deciding to support Finn instead, she demonstrated that love and resiliency could triumph over even the most unforeseen obstacles.